Notice that everyone you see on TV has exactly the same opinion of Ukraine, and in fact, exactly the same opinion of everything. Those opinions are formed on Twitter, which you probably don't use since you don't work in journalism, thank God. But then they're repeated to the public, who are expected to assume those opinions as well. Thinking for yourself is no longer allowed. It's interesting to talk to people who are outside of that closed information loop, rational, clear-headed people whose priorities are their family and the country. And that's why last night we spoke to a man called Bryce Mitchell. He's a cattle farmer, UFC fighter. He's from the state of Arkansas. And he articulated very clearly, with no pretense at all, why a lot of people in this country have no interest in fighting a war against Russia over Ukraine. Here's part of what he said. Now, people who say what you have said are often denounced as unpatriotic or traitors to their country. Does that confuse you, since the first thing you said was, I will fight and die for Arkansas?
That'd be the greatest honor I could ever have, brother. So I'm far from not being a patriot. You know, that'd be the greatest thing I could do, is die defending this land. So I'm not afraid to do that. I'm just not wanting to go waste my life fighting for some of these battles that I don't even believe in.
So Bryce Mitchell's not a coward. We can establish that right there. First of all, he's a UFC fighter. Second, he said very clearly, and there's no reason not to believe him, he'd be happy to die. It would be an honor, he said, to die for the people and country that he loves. He does not want to die in a war with a nuclear power over an obscure country in Eastern Europe he can't find on a map. So that's a pretty simple principle. It's a time-honored principle, not just in this country, but in every other country. You send people to war when your real interests are threatened. But in Washington, that idea is heresy. These are the people who are about to spend another $15 billion of American tax money, not on Texas, not on fixing homelessness, not on, helping the families whose children have died of fentanyl overdoses because of the open border that we have. But they're going to send it to defense contractors to defend a country's border on the other side of the world. So people like the man you just saw are a huge threat to the tiny-minded members of Congress like Adam Kinzinger, who are doing things that do not serve this country in any way. So Kinzinger was completely triggered by that interview, and he went on Twitter, which is Mediae, and wrote this, quote, "Oh my Lord, this is America. By the way, I'll fight when the war comes to Arkansas." What? The World War II generation would love to slap him, I'm sure. This is a new way to support Putin without being so obvious. Kinzinger continued, "Side note to this kid. Please just stay here and entertain. No one is asking you to fight for your country. There are far braver men and women that will do that even in Arkansas." Really, where are these men and women who are far braver than the man we interviewed last night? We'd love to know. Adam Kinzinger's always invited on this show. Anytime. We'll give him the hour. Mr. Tough Guy.